Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a massive contradiction in the tech world. AI is supposed to be this game-changing technology. So why do so many AI projects completely fail? And more importantly, how can good management turn that around and lead them to huge success? Okay, so let's just jump right into the heart of the problem. We are constantly hearing about how AI is going to transform everything. Billions of dollars are being poured into it. But, when you actually pull back the curtain, the reality for most companies is, well, it's pretty disappointing.
I mean, just look at this number. A 2023 survey from Deloitte found that a whopping 70% of companies that start AI projects get stuck. They're just stuck in the pilot phase and never actually manage to deploy their AI in any meaningful way.
And if you think that's bad, it gets even worse. A report from Cognilica found that a staggering 87% of all AI projects never even make it into production. Think about that. That's almost 9 out of every 10 projects that are started just never see the light of day. This right here really shows you the disconnect, right? On one side, you've got the incredible promise. You see companies like Samsung reporting productivity gains of over 15%. But on the other side, you've got this harsh reality of sky-high failure rates and no obvious return on investment. This is what we call the AI paradox. So, what is going on here? What's causing this paradox? Why are so many brilliant teams and companies fumbling the ball? Well, it turns out it's not some big, unsolvable mystery. It really just boils down to a few critical and, thankfully, manageable problems. Okay, the single biggest hurdle, by far, is something called the implementation gap. It's that incredibly difficult journey from having a cool proof of concept that works in a lab to getting a solid, reliable system that actually works in the messy, complicated real world. This is the valley of death where most projects go to die. So these failures, they aren't just bad luck. They really stem from 3 core issues. First, you've got that implementation gap we just talked about, which is all about technical hurdles and messy data. Second, and this one is huge, is poor strategic alignment. This is chasing the shiny new AI toy without any real business goal in mind. And third, it's ignoring the major ethical risks, like bias in your data, right from the very beginning. And the numbers on this are just crystal clear. Look at this quote from IDC. When you actually tie an AI project to a concrete business goal, say a 10% jump in what users buy, your chances of success just skyrocket. It's not about the technology for technology's sake. It's always about the value. So what's the solution? Well, it isn't about finding a more complicated algorithm. The answer is actually a much more disciplined approach to management. Let's walk through what a proven roadmap for success really looks like. And here it is. This is the 4-step AI lifecycle. I want you to think of this as your playbook, a strategic framework that takes a project from just being an idea all the way to becoming a system that's creating real-world value and is constantly being monitored and improved. And listen, every single one of these stages is absolutely essential. It all starts with step 1, where you have to be really rigorous about picking business problems that have a high potential for a real return on your investment. And it doesn't just end at launch. Step 4 is all about continuously monitoring that model out in the wild to make sure it's still doing what you expect it to do. So how do you make this life cycle actually work smoothly? How do you bridge that implementation gap? The key is a practice called MLOps, or machine learning operations. Basically, it's like DevOps, but for machine learning. It's all about creating a reliable, automated pipeline to get models from a data scientist's laptop into production safely and efficiently. Of course, a great roadmap is totally useless if you don't have the right crew. Success with AI isn't just about process, it's about people. It's all about building a team that has the right blend of skills, the right kind of innovative culture, and crucially, the right principles from day one. You see, a top-tier AI team has to be cross-functional. It's not enough to just have a brilliant data scientist who can build a model. You absolutely need an ML engineer who knows how to get that model running in the real world. You need a domain expert who deeply understands the business problem. And then you need that AI project manager who acts as the glue holding the whole thing together. And this is really what it looks like when it's working. It's this constant collaboration, this back and forth, between the technical folks who know what's possible and the business leaders who know what's actually valuable. That synergy is the magic ingredient that makes sure the final product solves a real problem that matters. But, it's not just about the skills on the team. It's how they work together. The culture is a massive driver of success. Research shows that teams with cognitive diversity, that is, people who think about and solve problems in different ways,
are up to 20% more innovative. Creating that kind of environment is a huge competitive advantage.
And a non-negotiable part of that culture has to be a real practical commitment to building trustworthy AI. This can't be an afterthought. Actively working to find and fix issues like algorithmic bias is just as critical to your project's long-term success as its technical accuracy.
Building that trust isn't just wishful thinking. It takes a real, structured framework. It's about embedding what are called the FATE principles: fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethics into your entire process. This means using tools to check for bias, having committees for oversight, and documenting your work so you can actually explain why your model made a certain decision. So, here's the most important takeaway from all of this. Turning AI's amazing potential into actual, tangible progress isn't really about having the fanciest algorithm. It's about having the best management. It's about strategy, people, and process. Managing AI effectively is now a core leadership skill, period. So, as you start thinking about your next AI project, or even the one you're working on right now, ask yourself this question: is it truly built to succeed? Because by focusing on a clear strategic roadmap, building a truly cross-functional team, and baking in those trustworthy principles from the very beginning, you can make sure your project is one of the rare ones that delivers real transformative value.